This program was first broadcast on Arrow FM, Wairarapa's only community access media station, and shared on Access Media with the support of New Zealand On Air.
Hey legend, welcome to World Domination. I'm your host, Monica Ferguson, New Zealand girl, mindset coach, here to help you thrive, to help you heal, to help you overcome all those old feelings of unworthiness and fear and limits and doubts, and help you to step into the greatness that you are literally created for. I bring you amazing people from all around the world to inspire and empower you. So let's get into it. Hey, legends, Monica here, and welcome to this week's episode of World Domination. And we're going to call this one, Go Clean Your Room. And I've been thinking about this. I actually just wrote a post about this. But you know how sometimes when we have big dreams and big visions and a lot of goals, it's really easy to get caught up in the big stuff. Like we think about the business stuff, the networking, the website, the real practical stuff, right? But we're not thinking about all the little things that we need to do in order to actually create space for that thing to come in. Because here's the thing. We still live in like a human world, right? Yes, we live in a very much energetic world, but we have to actually create space in our life to let those things in. And the thing is that if we haven't got the thing that we say that we want, there are a few reasons why. Now, one of them obviously is that our belief system is not aligned, right? We're not yet that version of us that's a match to that thing that we've asked for. But the other thing is that it might be the most impractical thing ever, like cleaning your room. It seems so insignificant, right? But actually, that version of you that has those things that you've asked for, that version of you needs order, right? And I say the bedroom thing just to be a bit cheeky, but what I really want to get across to you guys is that it's up to you to start trusting yourself and your own instincts, right? I was having a chat with someone this week who was looking to external experts to tell him what to do. You know, like, oh, well, that person's the expert, but, you know, so they know better than I do. But what I want to say is I want to flip that and say, actually, no one is more of an expert on you and your life than you are. Like, you live in your head. You live in your life all the time. And so often what we hear is a bunch of people and a bunch of noise saying, hey, do it this way, do it my way. I'm the expert. I know what you need. Now, you will never, ever hear me say that. All the stuff that we talk about is based on you. It's based on your mind, your beliefs, your feelings, your self-worth, because you are the creator of your life, right? So it doesn't matter what I think or what I say. It matters what you think and what you say. And since your thoughts and your beliefs are literally creating your life, wouldn't it make sense that you start trusting your own instincts, right? Because here's the thing. The moment that you decide that something is yours, right? And this is what we do in our client sessions. The very first session is we get crystal clear specifics on your goals. What are you now going to experience? This is the key. And then we set you up with little things that you can do to start to prepare your mind and align your mind with you having that thing. Now, a huge component of success is the ability to tune into yourself and trust your instincts, right? So, you know, those random ideas, those random thoughts, they seem random and they pop into your head and you're suddenly inspired to do something. Out of nowhere, this thought appears or this sudden urge appears, like you can't stop thinking about a certain place, or you just can't get this movie out of your head, or like me at the moment, I keep thinking about goats. I know, super random, but like I keep seeing little baby goats and I'm like, I really want a house in the country with little goats. Okay, so for whatever reason, that's going on. But in other ways too, much more practical ways, right? It's like I had the sudden urge to box, and being a boxer now for like a year and a half has literally changed my life. It's changed my mind, my mental health, my physical health, been one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. And that literally just popped into my head one day. I was sitting in my lounge and I was like, boxing. I was like, I wonder if there are any local boxers. And guess what? I looked up and, locally there's a world champ Muay Thai fighter who lives just down the road from me. And I messaged her and she messaged straight away. And she's been one of my besties ever since. These things are not accidents, right? So sometimes what we can do is ask ourselves, what is the best thing that I can do right now? How can I most, improve my situation right now? What is the inspired action I can take right now? And the inspired action is key, right? Because it's not about what you think makes sense, because that's your conscious mind, right? Now we know the conscious mind is 2 to 5% of your mind. And the subconscious, the unconscious, is the rest. Maths, right? It was 2 to 5%. Okay, so 2 to 5% is conscious. So 95 to 98% of your mind is subconscious. Now get that. 95 to 98% of your mind is subconscious, meaning it is outside of your conscious awareness. Your mind is always speaking to you, but you're probably just not paying attention right now. And it's very easy to dismiss these random things because they seem random. That the sudden urge, you keep thinking about someone, message them. You keep having this urge to do something or to change your diet or to buy something or read something or go to a certain place. None of this is random. Now, the key, and I want to be really clear on this, you guys. The key is, so the conscious mind is the goal setter, right? You decide the direction. You set the goals. You decide the goals. The subconscious mind goes about making it happen, right? Because your subconscious mind literally filters your reality based on your focus, which is why setting goals is so important. Because if you don't set goals, your mind is going to just keep repeating what you've already got based on your current thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, focus. So what that means is if you're focused right now on struggle, lack, everything sucks, you're unlovable, you're unworthy, it never works out for you, everything's horrible, when is it going to get better, right? Now, these are all very human emotions, and there's absolutely a time to feel them and to release them. It's imperative that we do that. But if our whole life is just focusing on how crap everything is and what we don't want, well, we haven't actually given our mind another option. So all it's going to do is give us more of that. So then, of course, these things happen again and again and again, and it gives us more evidence, and it deepens our belief and our conviction in that belief, because we're looking at our life going, see, I said everything sucks. Look at all these things that suck. And then more things that suck will be attracted to us, right? And also we'll project that belief onto things. So even though at any given time there are trillions of opportunities and beautiful things around you, you've literally programmed your mind to only see what you're focused on, which is lack. Now, the subconscious mind actually has a process which is called generalize, distort, and delete. And it's set up because our mind physically can't deal with so much information, right? Because it's like we're getting millions of pieces of information a second. And so our mind has to figure out a way to filter it down in a way that's manageable. And it filters it down to about 132 pieces per second of information, right? So it does that very specifically based on our focus, which is why we set goals, right? Because if we don't set goals, we're just going to keep getting more of what we have. And for most of us, that's not a good thing. Or it's okay, but you're not here to be okay. You're here to thrive. You're here to have amazing relationships and joy and happiness and abundance and impact. That's why we do this work, right? That's why we do this healing work and this growth work, is to actually create a life that is magnificent. Since what you focus on is what you create, why wouldn't you focus on an incredible life, right? This is the key. Now, I'm actually going to answer that. I'm going to answer my own question. This is why, you guys, I talk so much about the mind, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, because we need to understand how it works, because it is literally creating our life. And it's actually not that complex, right? Now, the subconscious mind, its function is to keep you safe, right? So it has a couple of functions. The big one is to keep you safe. And the other one is it seeks out more. So what that means is it's looking for more of what you believe, right? Because your mind is neutral. And also your subconscious mind doesn't care about your happiness, right? So whatever you focus on dominantly, it takes that as an instruction. Like, okay, cool. So you want to get more of this. So if you focus on always being alone, of always being abandoned, of not being good enough, of being broke, of everything, you know, of all these sorts of things, of even being depressed, your mind is going to find evidence of those things for you. And so often, I think we give our power away to the external world, and we look at the circumstances in our life and we think, man, this sucks. And I feel bad because these things suck. But actually our power is in shifting our thoughts and our focus. And it doesn't, and I don't mean toxic positivity. I don't do any of that crap. I'm a huge advocate for processing our emotions and feeling them, because we want to get them out of our subconscious mind, right? If you've got a belief and a fear of being abandoned, ignoring it is pointless, because your subconscious mind is 98%. So it's going to keep creating that experience for you until you heal the pain underneath it so that you can release it. And then you bring in the conscious mind and you get clear on, okay, what do I want actually? What I want is a really loving relationship. I want to be married. So you start focusing on those things. Guess what? You'll naturally start moving in that direction, right? But we need to understand that the mind is not concerned about our happiness. It is concerned about our safety, which means that if we leave it unchecked, it's going to keep recreating what we've experienced in the past. Now, what does this have to do with cleaning your bedroom? Well, what I was saying before, right, is around the importance of creating goals. So once we've got direction, like you can only have motivation with direction. So when you've got really specific and clear on your goals and you've made them amazing, it's not up to you to know how those things are going to happen. It is your job to just decide the what. And you will literally start like seeing your mind will start moving you in that direction. Amazing, right? Now this is where the trust bit comes in, because when you have those sudden impulses, those sudden urges, those thoughts to do things, do it. And the trusting of ourselves is literally the key to success, because the thing is that your path to success and your definition of success is different to everyone, right? So no one else can tell you the way there, because no one else is you. No one else can say, hey, if you want to get that relationship, you just need to do this, this, and this, and then you'll be there. And I think that anyone that's saying that, it's like specifics, like just do this and then you'll get this, I don't think that's good. I think what they should be saying is, hey, this worked for me. Because the thing is that your mind is so intricate. Your subconscious mind has been present with you for every single experience of your entire life. And it's holding on to every single thing that you've been through, right? And you've got all these beliefs and these stories. And, you know, as we're starting this work, a lot of pain, a lot of fear, probably a lot of wounds and stuff, things that haven't yet been released. And those things, like, are there likely blocking you from getting the things that you want, because your mind is trying to protect you, right? It doesn't want you to feel pain. It doesn't want you to experience those things again. It doesn't want to put you in a situation where things might hurt. And if you've had pain in the past in a certain situation, it's not just going to let you leap until it feels safe to do so, right? So learning to trust ourselves is one of the most important parts, right? So it means that you're really in tune with yourself. You know when something feels good or not. You know when someone is good for you or not. You know when it's the right move to make or the wrong move. And as part of this, and it sounds so crazy, I know, to say, oh, we're talking about cleaning your bedroom, but we're not. We're talking about trusting your own instincts, trusting your own knowing, cutting out the noise, right? And this is deep. This is deep stuff, you guys. Like, think about how we are raised to be people pleasers, to put everyone else's needs ahead of our own. We are, we're conditioned to believe that we're a lot less than what we actually are, that other people know better than us. Absolute crap, right? Like I said, no one knows you better than you. You are the expert on you. And I guarantee you that this is new stuff. Like, for you to trust your own beliefs and thoughts and instincts above everyone else, that takes so much courage to break the norm, right? And this is what we are all doing here. Like, in order for any of us to create impact or change the world, we need to do things differently, right? And I talk about courage so much because it takes such courage to stand up and stand out and be different to everyone else. Especially if your whole family thinks a certain way. Let's say your whole family is really negative and they're very old school, right? Like, be responsible. And they think that the way to do that is to, I don't know, get a trade job, work a 9 to 5, get a mortgage, and that's it, right? Save all your money for a rainy day. And that's how they do things, right? So then you step up and you go, actually, I really want to be a novelist. Like, I really want to write a novel. I have this story in me that's dying to get out. And your family are going to be like, you're insane. We know what's best for you, right? But they don't. They don't know. They know what's best for them. And this, my friends, is that really deep work where you get to choose. My voice matters. My opinion matters. My instincts matter. I often say to my clients, right, I want your gut instinct on this. And then I'll ask them a question. And I don't give them time to think about it because this is what people do. I'll throw a question out. What do you most need right now? And they'll sit and they'll ponder. And I'm like, nah, too slow. Because if you're pondering, you're trying to analyze things at a conscious level. And think about this too. Your conscious mind is based on the past. So why would you try and solve a future problem or a future goal with logic from the past, right? That logic only got you here. So it literally, why would you ask someone, who has no idea what you're talking about? Why would you ask for their advice? It's the same thing with your logical mind. Your logical mind has nothing to do with your future and your goals. And again, trusting yourself is everything, right? Because you have to, I want to be a little bit crass here, and say you have to have balls of steel, honestly. Because there is going to be resistance from other people and also from yourself. When your mind kicks in and says, what are you doing? Like, panic, we haven't been here before. And remembering that your subconscious mind is responsible for keeping you safe. So if you think that your subconscious mind is just going to let you quit your job and book a house in France for 6 months to go and write your book, you are smoking something. That is not how this works. And it's actually a good thing, right? But we need to understand what it means because your mind is going to straight away panic because that's what it's designed to do. It is designed to keep you safe. And it does that by keeping you in the familiar, in the comfort zone, because it knows how to keep you safe in the familiar, right? But as you start getting bold and as you start tuning into yourself and your desires and that gut knowing that you are here for more, that you have way more in you than what you have previously allowed and settled for, your mind isn't going to be happy with that initially, right? So I keep coming back to this, right? Trusting yourself. Because as you start to become aware of, oh, I feel really scared. I'm really scared about what's going to go wrong. What if I can't pay my bills? What if my whole family abandons me? What if everyone hates my book once I write it? What if I'm not good enough? All these genuine fears, right, are going to come up. And I say they're genuine because in terms of your mind and trying to keep you safe, absolutely. But the thing is that you have that desire for a reason. And this is where trusting yourself is everything. Because you know, deep down in your gut, you know what is for you. And this is where the courage bit comes in again, right? Like, if you were going to be courageous, if you were going to choose to act on what you know is true for you, what would you do? Right now, what would you do? Right? So what we want to do is we want to understand, obviously, how the mind works, because as those fears come up, we don't just fake it. We don't just do what a lot of these toxic people are saying and just push through it. You can't. Like, if you try and push through your subconscious mind, which is really trying to save, if it doesn't feel safe, it will stop you. And we can call that self-sabotage, but it's really self-protection, right? It's doing a great job at trying to keep you safe. So the work is in creating that sense of safety within ourselves first. And as we go, right, as the trigger comes up, as we realize, oh, I feel really afraid. Okay, cool. And we start to work through that and we reframe it and we release any of the emotion or fear or past pain that is associated with that. So we create a really solid base for ourselves now, and then we choose to move forward, right? And that's a lot more grounded. Like, the whole mind, body, spirit thing is very, very important. We can't do one without the other two, really, right? So let's say you've been building all this stuff up in your past. You've been working on you set some really cool goals that excite you. You've had a bunch of resistance come up. You've been navigating through it. You've been courageous AF and pushing forward and moving ahead, even on the days that you didn't feel like it. And nothing's happening. Now, this is the whole theme, right? Imagine that I had to talk for 22 minutes to get to the point. That's quite impressive, but no, you need the backstory, right? The context to understand the point. The thing is, and this is actually blowing my mind. Like, I have, over the years, you guys, those of you who have been with me for a long time, there are all sorts of facets to my business: schools, stores, online things, photography, coaching, like the podcast, all these different things that I've built, right? The big things, yep, cool. Smash them. I've got a list of goals at all times, the things that I'm working on. But so often it is the smallest thing that needs to shift in order for what you've asked for to actually come in. And I mean that. It's like the acknowledgement of a little fear, and then boom, your life changes. And I mean, last weekend, I became aware of a little fear in me where I was still holding back a little bit. I noticed that resistant feeling where I was thinking about the next level of business, and I felt this little feeling in my gut, like, ooh, like fear. And so obviously I know that if that's my subconscious mind saying to me, right, ooh, we don't really feel safe. Now, as long as I don't feel safe, I'm not going to be able to receive that. So I was like, okay, so what part of me doesn't feel safe? And it was like, what if we're not good enough? Right? And I was like, okay. So I sat with that and I did a little meditation and I did some journaling, and I pulled out my folder in my phone, which is like my positivity folder. And I take screenshots of beautiful feedback that I get from people. And I have like over 300 screenshots in there. And I started reading through the evidence that I had to counteract that belief, right? So me sitting here feeling I'm not good enough. What if I'm not good enough? Seeing the evidence of all the beautiful people that I have been so privileged to work alongside and the difference that made for them. I was like, well, that's just simply not true, right? So, and then I felt like, like release, relief, boom, huge shifts in the business, like amazing stuff within a day. And it's like, it truly is that thing of as within, so without, right? So tuning into ourselves, right? Now that was just like a little feeling of like, oh, now the old me would have totally missed that. I would have just dismissed it. But the new me has learned the power of the detail and the nuance, right? And it's often not this loud trigger and this huge thing. It's just this little feeling where you just feel a little bit off and like sit with it immediately, right? And shift it. Because if we don't, it's still sitting in our unconscious, creating stuff for us. Now, the other stuff though, right? I had this urge for weeks. Buy vitamins. Get some vitamins. And I did. And then I felt way more energized. And then guess what? Another breakthrough. And like the other day, on the weekend, I was like, okay, what's the inspired action that I can take tomorrow? It was a Sunday and I had nothing on, right? I was like, what's the inspired action that I can take tomorrow? And the first thing that popped into my head was do your laundry and clear out your closet. So I spent hours doing my laundry and clearing out my closet, and boom, another breakthrough. And this was not an accident, right? Because so often we are trying to figure out how things are from our conscious mind, which again only knows the past. It doesn't know the way to the things that we've asked for in the future because it hasn't been there yet. So trusting our subconscious, trusting our gut instincts, right? And notice it's not what someone else told me to do. I wasn't reading some business book about do this and you'll be successful. No one knows me better than me. No one knows what I need better than I do. My subconscious mind is a genius. So is yours. And because I work really hard at creating that focus, the goals, the repetition of the things that I want, I've set up my life in a way for success, right? So it means that it's constantly on my mind. So my mind always knows, hey, we're going this way. So it knows, like, Mon, take some freaking vitamins already. Go clean out your closet. It's just taking up space, right? And look what happened. I created space in my physical world, and then boom, something that seems very unrelated, but a breakthrough in my business. These are not accidents. But so often, right, if we were thinking logically, you'd be like, how does that connect to that? That makes no sense. But we live in an energetic world. Everything is energy. So of course everything affects everything else. Okay, so back to the beginning. What is the inspired action that you need to take right now? I mean, setting your goals, right? If you don't have goals, that's the first thing, because you can't have inspired action without goals, right? Set some goals for what you want. Make them specific, put a time frame on them, and think about them in the present tense. So if you want to go to Bali, don't think about one day going to Bali. Imagine yourself there now. Find photos of Bali. Find videos like walking through fancy Airbnbs or whatever, really start to imagine that it's happening now, because your mind doesn't know the difference, right, between real or imagined. So set your goals and then ask yourself, what is the inspired action? What do you most need now? What can you do now to move yourself forward in the most amazing way? And do it, because you are the genius of your life, right? No one else on earth compares to you. No one else knows you the way you do. No one else is here to do what you can do. So as you start to trust yourself, as you start to listen to yourself, do you know what, another positive side effect is that your confidence builds, your self-worth builds, because you know what happens when you do something and then you immediately see the result, you're like, oh, I did that. And there's a real sense of self-love. Like when you act on what you know, you're choosing yourself, right? It's like an energetic statement, like I matter. And it's happening at the unconscious level. If you're used to choosing everyone else's opinions, making everyone else more important than you, and all of a sudden you start tuning into yourself, you start putting yourself first, you start asking yourself, what can I do to help myself? What do I most need? What would make me really happy right now? and you start acting on that, you're embodying this energy of self-love, self-worth, and that must reflect out into your life, right? As within, so without. We live in a cause and effect world. So this is really exciting. So, do you need to clean your room right now? Or is it that actually you need to do the big things right now? Or is it just something so little, like you just need to put your shoes on and go for a walk? What is it? Trust yourself, my friends. You guys are the experts of yourselves, of your own life. You are incredible. Set your goals, set that focus, and then follow the inspired action, and doors will open. I promise you, magical things happen, but it requires courage and trust in yourself. Go forth and conquer, friends.
And that is a wrap. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for being here, and please let me know your aha moments. I want to hear all about them. For extra support, make sure you're following me on TikTok and Instagram at @TheMonicaFerguson. Check out the School of Greatness for self-study courses, and of course, if you want one-on-one mentoring, just DM me and I would love to have a chat with you. Go and slay the day. Thank you for being you. See you soon.